time for the KeSPA Cup semifinals and grand finals. I'm Wolf. With me is Moonglade. Got so many fans here today. We got relocated into our special salmon hollow in here.
The cage in the top right of the corner of the studio, unfortunately. Yeah. So we don't get to enjoy the ambience of the studio itself.
The one cool thing about this booth, though, is that we can actually look directly down the crowd, and I can see exactly how hyped everyone is all the time.
Yeah, and we can make weird noises in here and do whatever we want, because no one else can hear us in the studio as well.
Only the people on the stream can hear us. It's just you and us, and no one else knows what we're saying.
We can go crazy in here.
We can go crazy.
It literally is a cage.
We can literally do whatever we want.
Yeah, we could. Anything right now.
We're like zoo salmons right now.
We really are actually in the zoo right now.
But today's going to be obviously great matches. We've had basically the top 16 players in Korea, which means the top 16 players in the world, because this is the strongest region by far. And of course, we've narrowed it down now to our top 4. 3 Zergs and 1 Protoss here.
Pretty surprising, actually. 3 Zergs making it to the top 4. And I think it's very possible we see a Zerg final as well, which is pretty rare these days, something we haven't seen in quite a while.
Yeah, it really is. We're going to take a look at our WCS global points here. Life in the lead with 4,050. Maru in second place currently, and Hero. So Life and Hero, 2 players that are still in the top 4 of this tournament. Dark as well, down there at 11th place at 1,450. And our other Zerg player, is he in here?
Biel, I don't think so. He doesn't really go international as much either, so he has a harder time making the points up. Dark would actually benefit the most from this win. If he wins the tournament, he's going to be shooting straight up there.
Yeah. The first place player does take home 1,500 WCS points. So if Dark wins this, for example, he'll go actually right into 8th place and knock Zest down to 9th. So that's something to think about.
Well, he would actually.
Oh, no.
He'd go way further. He'd go up to like 5th place, right?
Yeah. What am I talking about?
You're fine.
Well, I'm bad at math.
Yeah, okay, I guess so. Here's a look at the brackets that we've seen so far, the storyline for each player, but the 4 remaining: Dark, Hero, Life, and Biel. Oh, man.
So we are going to have a Zerg versus Zerg to start things off, and then our PvZ. It's possible we'll have the first Zerg versus Zerg final in Korea that we've had in a very long time. I don't even remember the last one, to be totally honest.
Was it like
Sniper versus Hyun? That was in like Las Vegas, but it was the GSL finals, so it's still like a Korean finals.
Yeah, that must be it.
That was the last Korean ZVZ finals I can think of.
I can't remember exactly anything else right now. But yeah, it's been a long time. But obviously, it's going to have to be a bit of an upset with Biel defeating Hero, but I think it's possible.
Yeah, definitely possible. Well, taking a look at this, you guys can see this is going to be the order, as I mentioned before: Dark versus Life, and then Hero versus Biel. We're going to have our finals today, so if you're coming here expecting just to see semis, well, guess what? It's a good day to be in the stream. It's a good day for Starcraft, because the finals are going to happen right afterwards, after like a little short break.
About 20-minute break, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm hyped for this, because I feel like, the biggest underdog out of the 4 of these is Dark, but if he takes the win somehow, if he gets first place, like I said, he's going to shoot way up in the rankings, might be able to go to that BlizzCon at the end of this year, so then we'll be in a better place for that.
Yeah, I actually think there's a very good chance he could do so. But, I mean, it's if he can beat Life, and that would definitely be an upset. Life sounded so confident yesterday talking about Dark. I'm sure we're going to hear more of that in just a second as well, actually.
Yeah, we definitely will. So we're going to have a little post-game, or rather pre-game interview. We'll have post-game interviews as well, but we're not there quite yet. We're going to be jumping into that in just a moment here. All right, it's time to take a look at some of these interviews.
먼저 진행을 해주시겠어요? 네, 오늘 박용호 선수 이제 또 저희 팀 후배이기도 하고 T1 코칭 스텝에서 커피를 또 주더라고요. 네. 잘 부탁한다는 뜻에서 박용호 선수.
So T1's coaching stuff bought coffee today.
아직까지 커리어가 없습니다.
So he's saying he's thankful for that.
지금 이 무대에 올라온 소감이 어떠세요?
It's going to be the first finals you've ever had if you advance in today's match. It's going to be my career high. And the KeSPA Cup's a really good opportunity for me.
네. 단기 대회에서
I've been in the semis before, but this is going to be my first finals if I do end up making it.
오늘은 뭐 컨디션 괜찮나요?
How was your condition today?
그래서 오늘도 잠을 좀 잘 자고 와서 괜찮은 컨디션 같아요.
네, 뭐 꿈은 특별히 꾼 건 없고요.
꿈은
I'm pretty good in short, like smaller, shorter tournaments, so I think my condition's pretty good today.
굉장히 박영우 선수에게
slept very, very well.
많이 들어갔던 인터뷰였던 것 같아요.
I didn't have any weird dreams.
자, 그러면 이승현 선수의 인터뷰를 좀
having a
진행해 보죠.
good night's
치킨
sleep
동맹에
here.
일단 위기가 생겼습니다. 경기 끝나고도 이 두 선수의 사이에는 별 금이 가지 않을 것 같은데 어떻게 생각하시나요?
뭐가요?
치킨 동맹. 치킨 동맹.
Is asking him
네, 그럴 것 같아요.
about the chicken they ate together, because this was a discussion that they had earlier, of course, about Darkin and Life eating chicken, and Dark didn't buy him any chicken. Maybe we can go out tonight and have some chicken.
솔직히 말해서 그냥 마음 편하게 하고 가려고요. 이기면 좋은 거고.
역시 많이 고기도 먹어본 사람이 먹어본다고.
So winning is important, and it would be nice, but I'm just going to try to play pretty chill today, pretty comfortably. Of course, Life's sitting at the top of the WCS points, no doubt about his comfortableness right now. He predicts he's going to win 3-1. That's the score he's predicting here.
이승현 선수의 인터뷰를 들어봤습니다. 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Asking the crowd to cheer for him one more time.
준결승 두 번째 경기는 팀킬 경기인데요. 김준호 선수와 한지원
Now we're talking
선수가
about our team kill
김준호 선수의 인터뷰
between Biel and Hero.
SK 전 선수였잖아요, 고인규 해설이.
네.
제가 예전에 지오 창단 멤버였습니다. 그러니까 CJ의 전신이에요.
광해군 때였나요,
네,
그때가?
제 후배들, 직속 후배들이 지금 나와서 4강전을 펼치는 거라 제 마음이 너무 아픈데
So Daehyun
그래도 질문을
used to
해보도록
be
하겠습니다. 일단 김준호
in
선수가
the team that became CJ.
세 명의 저그가 올라왔단 말이에요. 이 세 명의 저그랑 비교했을 때 한지원은 어떤 다른 점이 있나요?
So there's 3 Zergs in the semifinals. Is Biel any different than the other Zergs?
다른 선수들에 비해서 그러면 한지원 선수에게 승리하게 되면 거의 오늘 우승이네요.
Feels like Biel is more solid than the other 2 Zergs.
설레발 안 치기로 했지만 우승할 수
Of
있을
course, talking about his teammate.
이런 자신감. 최근에 약간 그 우승을 할 것 같았는데.
So if I could beat Biel, I think I could win the whole thing. Something that Hero also said yesterday in his interview.
아쉽게 준우승. 오늘 KeSPA컵은 어떤가요? 이번 KeSPA컵.
Last year, you were the runner-up of the KeSPA Cup, losing to Zest. How do you feel about today's KeSPA Cup?
좀 많은 것 같아서 오늘은 약간 진지하게 한번 해보려고.
I think I was actually too hyped last year, so I'm going to try to play a little bit more seriously this time.
그런 것들 때문에 한지원 선수랑 이런 팀 킬전을 한다라는 것에 대한 부담감 같은 거 없나요?
네, 그 전에는 제가
How do you feel about the team kill?
팀킬 하면 왠지 안 질 것 같은 그런 느낌이 있었는데 그때 한번 세게 맞고 좋은 교훈을 얻은 것 같아요. 그래서 이제 팀킬에 대해서 더 강해진 것 같아요.
Up until now, when I played against my teammates, I never thought I'd actually lose any of the games. But today, I actually feel like against someone like Biel, such a strong player, I might end up losing. So it adds a lot of extra pressure.
김준호를 상대로는 연습 없이도
How did you practice? I didn't practice even a little bit.
할 수 있다 이런 얘기인가요?
그냥 마음만 편하게 먹으면.
Did you only do image training? In this case, referring to like
다른
watching
적들보다 단단한
VODs and
한지원
stuff like that.
선수라고 칭찬을 해줬던 김준호 선수인데.
So he's just saying studying that way is basically all you needed to do to win, to study Hero.
개인 커리어 우승이 없습니다. 오늘 굉장히 임하는 자세가 남다를 것 같아요.
So you've never won a championship in Korea or in your career.
우승하고 싶어요. 꼭.
So
this is like a great opportunity for me, Biel says, to actually become a champion.
분들이 알고 계시잖아요. 오늘 만약 김준호 선수 이기고 만약 우승까지 한다면 CJ의 넘버원은 한지원이 되는 건가요?
아니요, 그래도 준호가 넘버원이죠. 커리어만 보면.
So are you going to be CJ's best player if you win today?
삿바라도 가져와야 될 것 같아요. 유대현 해설위원이 두 선수.
And he says, actually, like if you look back at results and statistics, even if I win today, Hero still has the better results. He's still a better player.
아니에요.
알겠습니다.
자, 팀원에 대한 그 굳건한 마음까지 느낄 수 있었고요. 자, 기가 인터넷 2015 캐스파컵 시즌 1 4강전 두 경기의 관전 포인트를 짚어보도록 하겠습니다. 이현경 씨 나와주세요.
So let's take a look at some of our viewpoints here for the round of 4. Sojung is not here today, so we're going to be we're going to be
reading this in English anyway.
We're not as pretty as Young Moonglade, but we're going to try.
My hair is pretty nice today.
Yeah, your hair looks better than hers. That much is true. So we're going to see Zerg's like new up-and-coming leader here versus Zerg's champion.
Interesting.
And it is, of course, SKT versus KT Rolster, so that rivalry is there. And Dark's going for his first career individual league finals.
Would you consider Dark to be the new Zerg's leader is what I want to know. I still kind of think that...
I'd rather say Biel is, to be honest.
Well, I think Life is still like the king. But here we go with the other one.
Yeah, teammate match here. Obviously, team kill. The more common the more common term. And of course, Hero versus Zerg. Hero is 7-2 in the lead. And of course, Biel is also going for the first individual finals he's had in 563 days, so basically 2 years.
Wow.
Well, a year and a half or so, actually, I guess, if I want to, like, I'm bad at math.
Yeah, you're not doing too well
I'm not
at
qualified,
math today.
man.
Well,
nearly 2 years.
It's going to be so interesting to see Hero versus Biel because there is going to be a whole new level of mind games between these two very close teammates. The two aces for their team as well. Like, it doesn't get more interesting than that, just to see how weird these games might get.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can get very strange because they just know each other so well.
Really curious to see how the ZVZ is going to go because we could see anything from early pools, roach timings, late game, even Mutalists perhaps making an appearance.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how aggressive they are as well. Both players actually have very similar stats in terms of percentage wins in their ZVZ, and it's by far their best matchup, both of them.
And Zerg versus Zerg actually is a matchup that in Korea has been getting a lot more aggressive recently. It's starting to look more like Chinese ZVZ with all these Ling Baneling all-ins we're seeing.
Yeah, well, that Lacera versus Dark, I think it was even. Like, Dark had to show his ZVZ for 5 games in day 1, and so Life got a good look at that, and they were pretty crazy aggressive as well.
Yeah, so maybe he wants to change it up today and throw Life off a little bit.
And even going to 5 games against Lacera, you know, it's kind of a bad sign going up against someone like Life as well, because Life is on another level.
Right. It's going to be really tough for Dark. Dark's definitely the underdog in this top 4. I don't want to say he had like an easier bracket than everybody else, but he didn't have like the hardest one. Going through Lacera and then going through Fantasy to get here.
Yeah, beating Fantasy, pretty impressive, but Lacera to start things off, you know, pretty easy one. But he did go actually 3-1 that win.
He 3-1 did, and Lacera did not look like he was like in top condition.
Yeah.
He looked a bit off, so... Dark, I feel like, I mean, I don't want to say he had an easy bracket, but his bracket was definitely easier than some of the others we had.
Terminator than Dream, probably a little bit more harder, I'd have to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Life did pretty damn well.
Dream is an insanely strong opponent right now to have to face.
Especially in ZVT, you know, that's something else. And Life, he showed a style that we haven't really seen much of. He was, like, hyper-aggressive, but, like, in a different way. Especially that game that just stuck with me was the Ling Muta, you know, with no bailing nest, no defense. He just went straight to Muta to like sit on top of the production buildings of a Terran going bio. He went bio after going Hellion Banshee.
Yeah, Life's been like insanely aggressive recently. He's insanely confident with how like he can be greedy to a point and then just turn on the aggression once he reaches that critical point where he can actually attack. Something to note about Life is yesterday he seemed to be a bit sick. He seemed to be a bit off in his condition.
That's a worry, yeah. I didn't get a good look at him today. I'm sure we'll get more of an idea of how he's feeling when he's in the booth, if he's sniffling and coughing and all that.
Yeah, he seemed pretty calm and fine on stage, so that's something to keep in mind. Looks like we're actually going to jump into our map picks and bans in just a second here, as I could see the...
I think it's been going this whole time, Wolf. We're just missing out on it.
No, I could tell because our event they got the events up here for the studio on the screen, so I know we haven't missed it yet. Don't worry.
All right. Well, they seem to be fiddling around with the map pick thing anyway, so I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, probably just getting ready to do it. Maybe even asking some of the players like already what their bans are, so we can skip that phase and just put it up on the screen.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. Very excited for this game there.
Yeah.
Best of 5s for the semis and best of 7 for the grand finals.
Exactly. And I was actually not sure if we were going to have picks and bans or if the maps were going to be predetermined, so I'm kind of glad that we're going to keep the system consistent to the end. All right, time for that map selection. Keep in mind, no bans for the finals because 7 maps.
But it's good that they get to choose the map order as well.
Yep.
That is very, very important. See what these guys ban out. What kind of style they want to play in this matchup. They want to have the big maps, the small maps. Vani banned out for Life to start things off.
Yep. And Inferno Pool's banned for Dark.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
I like the Vani research ban as well. Zerg can play like a little bit different on that map compared to every other map because of that pocket expand, and it's very easy to block the ramp with a couple of queens. So they can be very greedy and tech very fast if they want to. It can be pretty dangerous and just an unorthodox sort of style.
Yeah. Iron Fortress to start things off. Echo to Cactus Valley. Probably Coda next, I would guess. Just based on the fact that looks like Dark wants to play Echo, a bit of a smaller map. Oh, Expedition Lost instead, though.
Expedition Lost. Now, that's a tricky map for ZVZ because of the ice in the backdoor. Like, when everything's kind of opened up and roaches start running in every direction, like, they can just get into your main base so easily. So that's a dangerous map, and it's going to be explosive.
Oh, these two giving a smile there.
Confidence from both, but Life sounded so confident in his interview yesterday, especially. Like, 100% chance of winning against Dark. sort of confidence.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
Well, we've seen a lot of upsets in this tournament, but I feel like when we get into the semis, kind of just have to like let that go. These are not just these best of fives we're seeing with odd matchups where players are massively favored over each other. These are players that have gone through 2 rounds of the tournament now, back to back.
Yep.
So I feel like there's a really, really good chance that Life could actually get a 3-0 here. It's totally possible we see something like the first 3-0 we've seen like this entire tournament.
I think it's possible. We do see Dark, sometimes he can get a little flustered as well. Life seems a lot more resistant to that kind of mental strain. Like, he's been in a lot of situations. He's one of the most experienced players internationally. He's won so many tournaments. And Dark, he still really hasn't found that much.
Yeah.
He's like a fantastic Zerg right now. He's come a long way, and he's one of the best, but he hasn't had that tournament experience like Life.
Life doesn't easily get frustrated. Life doesn't easily get, shaken in a series, even if he goes down early on. Let's look at Dark's ZVZ. He's 20 and 13, and these specific stats we're looking at. In 2015, so not too many individual league stats, 6 and 2. So he's played a decent amount of matches in the matchup, but I feel like the caliber of players he's played against are just not the same as the one that Life has hit.
Yeah, especially this tournament. Defeating Lasira 3-1 and Fantasy 3-2, barely coming out of that one. But Fantasy playing, the games of his life in Starcraft 2, that's for sure. So we'll see what he does today. He's got about a 67% if I was going to go to Ali Gulak and check all that out, which I might be doing right now.
Something like that.
Something like that, it's not too bad. It's pretty impressive, actually. He's far above all his other matchups.
Yeah, significantly, and he's also played it a ton as well. He's got a lot of experience here. I'm definitely excited to see how he's going to do here. Here's Life, though. He's got so many fangirls actually in the studio today, taking a picture of him, stalking him.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, actually.
It's like got to be pretty easy to get distracted when you're actually just trying to get ready and get warmed up and you're being chased by fangirls all over the studio.
Especially if they're sick as well.
Look at this record versus Zerg.
Oh, yeah.
124 to 77. Oh my god.
This guy has a lot of experience behind him. Official matches as well. Just look at that. This guy's been playing forever.
Over 200 ZBZs on that record right there.
Yep. One of the most aggressive Zergs, and it does come into play in this matchup more than most others because of the Ling Bane aggression that we do see quite often. As well as, the Roach multitasking is also very important, and Life is just so damn good at it. We don't get to see Life ZBZ that much, but when we do, it is fantastic.
Yeah, we really do enjoy it every time we do get to see it.
And on a map like Iron Fortress to start things off, this could be a very explosive map as well, because it does have a pretty open natural. It's a very big map, so build orders can be hidden that much longer.
True. I'm actually hoping that we get to see, perhaps on this game, like a little bit of mid to late game, because the map is so open, but there are a few choke points that you can kind of control in ZVZ. It ends up being kind of crazy if you have that Roach versus Roach sort of game. All right, guys, the map is up and loaded. These two having some friendly banter to each other in the chat. Light is laughing a lot. Dark giving his trademark GGGL go. All right, it's time for game number 1 on Iron Fortress. Dark versus Light.
SK텔레콤 D1다 박영우 vs KT 로스터 라이브 이승현.
Bottom left in the red. It's Dark for SKT.
In the top right for KT, it is Life, a world champion of last year. The most successful Zerg in the world.
Life fighting Zerg victory. Going to be a Zerg victory in this semi no matter what. That much is clear.
Indeed, Wolf. Alrighty. Things are looking good for Life. He is going to be scouting in the right direction with his Overlord, which is going to help out a great deal. He's going to head straight for that natural. And he's going to find out what Doc wants to do. Is he going to go for a hatch first, go for pool first, go for something else entirely different? A lot you can do on a map like this. And look at this. We are going to see, dirty 10 pool.
You know, not a bad choice. It's a bit risky on this map because it's 4-player. And the rush distance is pretty far if you get cross spawns. And you're likely to be scouted as well. But luckily for him, it's vertical spawns.
Yeah, well, let's see how soon Life wants to give away the fact that his Overlord can scout him as well. And let's see what Dark wants to do with this, because he could, you know, hide Lings, go for Ling speed, and go for a massive Ling all-in. On a 4-player map, that is very possible if the player doesn't scout you first with the Overlord. But unfortunately for him, Life does.
Yeah, Life scouts him first, and he scouts wrong, so he's not going to know where Life is.
Still, the advantage for Dark in terms of build orders, because Life did go for that hatch first.
And an extra drone, 2 extra drones. Let's see if he adds even a gas.
Not just yet.
Says you've got to win. Talking to Life.
It's going to be a gas as well.
Yep, super greedy.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's going to be Ling Bane. And Life's Overlord could very well run into Dark's. And from there, Dark will know exactly where he is.
And he can even try to hide his Lings.
Yep, he will get them past at least the first 6.
Totally hidden right here. Will this Overlord timing tip him off at all, though? Because it is leaving a bit late.
Yeah, Life definitely knows something is up. He's like, well, that is a very late hatchery. Okay, he sees the Lings. He knows exactly what's going on. Unfortunately for Life, though, there's not much he can do. He's got to wait for the spawning pool and just micro his drones as best as he can.
Yep, that's what this is all about. He sees the Lings now, of course, but he already knows they're coming. Going to see some drone drills here. And also, this is not just Life who has to micro. Dark has to micro well as well. 3 Banes actually coming at the ramp.
Yep, 3 Banes. They're going to be used to kind of either get massive drone hits or just kind of zone out all the Zerglings that Life wants to make. And he sees the Banelings. He knows what's up. This is a horrible place for him to be in for game 1.
Life is so behind build order-wise. A few good drone hits there, but no kills. 2 now being taken out by these Lings here in the middle line. The rest of the drones at the natural are so red. And oh boy, Life is really strong. He's just hovering around these Lings, waiting for them to hatch so he can blow them up. And there they go. And that might just be too much. I think that's it. GG. Dark takes game number 1.
Just a straight-up build order win from Dark. Very nicely done. These things happen. There's nothing you can do about it. Doesn't get more of a harder build order win than that. Going to 16 gas, 15 pool after a hatch burst. You will almost guaranteed die to Baneling all-ins.
Yeah, super greedy. Super duper greedy. Also, like, if there were cross spawns, we would have been safer with that. I don't fault Life for going for this build, though, because it's a 4-player map. It's one of the bigger maps.
It is the standard for sure. You know, it's either you're going to go for a 15 pull or you're going to go for a 15 hatch, and generally, unless you're going to go for an all-in. And 15 hatch, obviously a little risky, only to that build, essentially, but it's worth the risk in most games.
Yeah, in most cases. Well, this is not going to be too tilting for Life, because when you lose a game like this, you know, okay, you just beat me like by luck in a sense, you know, by choice.
You rolled the dice.
It was a smart strategic choice, but for Life, you can't be too frustrated by this. There's nothing you could have done.
No way. You'd never, ever feel tilted by this. It's just going to happen, especially in a best of 5.